Good afternoon, class. Welcome to the Tuesday class and the Wednesday class for March 27th. Today we are going to use the American English file book and we are going to focus on Unit 1B, Family. So, first of all, we're going to take a look at the picture over here. It's a picture of a family reunion. And in this reunion, you see all different people in the family. You have the mother, the brother, the father. Does this look like a family gathering that you would have? Now, today, apart from talking about family, we are also going to talk about different personality traits, and that's later on in this lesson. So first up, let's take a look at this part over here. Now, under vocabulary and speaking, it'll briefly introduce the different family members and the relationships. So very quickly, let's take a look at B. With a partner, explain the difference between each pair. Okay, now we're just going to go through the key words here. So number one, a father and a parent. I think that's pretty straightforward. A mother and a stepmother. So please highlight this word. I think a lot of you probably don't know what a stepmother is. A stepmother is when your mother dies and when your father remarries, then you get a stepmother, which is what we call 继母. Okay? And a brother and a brother-in-law. Please underline brother-in-law. Law means 法律上的. So brother-in-law means the brother or your sister, okay, your sister's husband, 你妹妹或姐姐的老公, you would call brother-in-law. A grandfather and a great-grandfather. A great-grandfather is what we call 曾祖父. Okay, a nephew is called 侄子, and niece is what we call 侄女. Okay. And a child and an only child is what we call 独生子. And an immediate family and your extended family. Immediate family means that the family members you have that are close to you. For example, your father, your mother, your brother, or your sister. And extended family usually means 2 or 3 generations, like your grandfather, grandmother, like that as such. It's also called a big family. So next up, I'd like you to take a look at the small box over here. Do you think that? So now very quickly, we're going to read it through together. So number 1, family. Do you think that families should have a meal together every day? Number 2, do you think that children should leave home as soon as they can afford to? Number 3, do you think that parents and their teenage children should spend a lot of time together? Number 4, do you think parents should be friends with their children on social networking sites, for example, Twitter? And the last one, do you think that elderly parents should live with their children when they are too old to live alone? Okay, now let's highlight some of the keywords here. So the first phrase you need to highlight is have a meal. Okay, and the second phrase that's most important in this part is social networking sites, which means Facebook, Twitter, IG as sorts. Okay, so for now, I'd like you to choose 2 of the questions here, and I'd like you to copy the sentences down into your class log. And I'd like you to answer the questions back in English. For example, the question may be, do you think that children should leave home as soon as they can afford to? And then down below, I'd like you to write down your comments. For example, I think that, or I agree that, or I disagree that kids should move out from their family once they can afford it because. So you also need to give a reason as to why. Okay. Now, So just pick 2 questions. So basically, you write down, do you think that, and then you choose one of the colored questions here, and then write down the question, and then you answer the questions in English. Now, as we said in last semester, there are many ways to do this. You can use different sentence starters we learned for the PPT last semester. If you remember, for example, you can say, in my opinion, or personally, I think, right? Or you can even say, from my perspective, right? Or to me, I think. Or you can say, I agree with this because, or I disagree with this because, and then give you a reason for that. And so those are like pointers for you to finish off your 2 questions here in the class log. Now here's another thing. Down below in the green box over here, it indicates that you can use the word should in your sentences to make it more persuasive. For example, this person says, I think families should have dinner together every day because, or I don't think parents should be friends with their children on Twitter because. Okay, so for these instances, you can take a look at and also do. Now, a lot of parts of this are about listening, so we're just going to skip this part, and then we will continue to move on to page 10 and page 11, where we are going to do some reading exercise. Okay, so take a look.